All right, what's up, Clinical Research Circle peeps? How's it going? Welcome back. We're prepared, well prepared this time, and we're gonna be more so going forward. But you know what? We've grown like a small dedicated following. People commenting. Sometimes I text because last time they were talking about Ashley with Bluebird, and then they're always talking about Chris. I send it to Chris every now and then. Dr. Al is the star of the show. So today we've got Ashley Margot. We've got Chris Sauber. We got Dr. Al Jazairali, all the way. He's all the way from Hollywood, and we've got, as you can see on the screen, 5 FDA approval decisions to watch. And this is straight from Latinos in Clinical Research, which is the Clinical Research Circle sponsors Latinos in Clinical Research. So we've got 5 things coming up. Okay, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration will have some tough decisions to make, according to a story on Biopharm Dive, which we can get into that as well. Clearing an experimental Alzheimer's drug from Biogen. This is the one that Chris and I kind of got wrecked on. The Alzheimer drug. Remember, this was like when I was drinking a coffee and outside, and then there was motorcycles behind me, and we were like, you know what? When the drug company is investing in a long-term extension study, it's a good sign. But it actually didn't turn to get approved, but now it's back. All right, just like I think it's 6 months later, and so that's going to be one of them. So, according to the article, any rejection could add to an impression that the FDA is becoming stricter of late after a series of surprising regulatory knockbacks and an industry-wide evaluation of cancer immunotherapy approvals. What do you think about this, Dr. Al? First of all, the cancer immunotherapy approvals. What do you think about
Uh,
this?
I, I think now the biggest trend in oncology is the cancer immunotherapy. They're integrating it in a lot of malignancy. We have lung, head and neck, and even brain, glioblastoma, even for kidney, for colon. Most of the cancers now we use immunotherapy, and it depends on the type of the immunotherapy and type of the cancer itself. So it is, and you see a lot of responses. Like we see big difference now between in lung cancer, especially for the patient, between in response and performance and a lot of things. And patient love it because the side effect is minimum, mainly rash or side effect, rash or some kind uh, mouth sores, comparing to the chemotherapy where you have hair loss, anemia, thrombocytopenia, and all this other side effect. This is much less side effect and much.
You think the FDA has been? Do you agree with this? That the FDA has been a little bit stricter with the immunotherapy drugs?
Uh, it has been, but also they've been doing what they need to do for that. And I think being strict in immunotherapy is not a bad thing.
Are
Okay.
they when the article states like that they're being stricter compared, are they talking in reference to in comparison to like how quick they rolled out those the COVID vaccinations or just in general?
Most probably, but
Yeah.
because yeah, most probably because it have to go through the clinical trial, have to prove efficacy, and have to meet its end goal to be approved.
Mhm.
So I don't know what they're talking about. They're trying to commercialize themselves and ask the I'm pushing on the FDA, putting pressure on the FDA through the patients or uh, or other the community or whatever. I'm not sure why they're
Mhm.
saying so, but they know that the thing need to be done, especially in these patients for this population,
Right.
as need to be done. You
I
cannot
think
like push it.
I think what the article is saying is the Biopharm Dive listing clearing an experimental Alzheimer's drug from Biogen, approving a coronavirus vaccine from AstraZeneca, which Ashley's been talking about forever, and then that has been the subject of an unusual public dispute, changing the standard of care for a rare genetic disease, and clearing a new vaccine for one of the world's most common infections as top priority. Any rejection to those, the this is what the article says, could add to an impression that the FDA is becoming stricter of late. So this
That's
is
what I'm
like,
saying.
according to the article, this is important for a number of reasons. It might
I know,
give
but
a
you can't compare the vaccine to the Alzheimer medication or to the chemotherapy or
Right.
immunotherapy. You cannot. Okay, the vaccine is a priority and not need to be done this way, but you don't have for the chemo for immunotherapy you have alternative. For Alzheimer you have alternative. You don't have to rush into making decision about that. But for the vaccine, for the corona, we didn't have any alternative. Die or get sick or
Right. I
that's how it
understand.
is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the first
I
one.
don't,
Well, the first one, these are the 5 drugs listed in order from that article by the date of which the FDA is expected to make a decision. So this is April 2nd. So tomorrow, April 3rd, the FDA is going to decide on Acadia Pharmaceuticals for dementia-related psychosis, pimavanserin. The only drug on the market from Acadia has been sold under the brand name Nuplazid to treat Parkinson's disease psychosis. Last year, the company asked for an approval on dementia-related psychosis. The FDA decision date is April 3rd. Acadia executives expected a good outcome until regulators found deficiencies in the company's application. FDA feedback appears to have ruled out an April approval and reduced the chance of an eventual one. So that's not looking good for them, Acadia.
I want to know who comes up
Exactly.
with these names. Nuplazid, like, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Additionally, I don't understand why that would cause it to not be approved ever, just because there's some sort of, misinformation in
Deficiency
their
in the
application.
Application, yeah.
Right. It's not the data on the drug. It's just the application. You would think that's just corrected. It just takes longer.
it's the government, my friend. That's
Yeah,
how
I
government
know.
works.
I know.
So you
Unfortunately.
can't.
One misstep, that's
Unfortunately.
it. Chopping
You
block.
can't. You
Yeah,
go
we
to
were
the DMV to renew your driver license. If you didn't fill out the right box and check the right box,
You got to do that driver test over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, here's your
I
question.
don't know.
These are the Acadia executives that we were extremely surprised and disappointed to receive such a communication from the FDA and to receive it so late in the review cycle. This is what the CEO told the investors last month. While not yet an official rejection, the agency's feedback seems to have ruled out an April approval and lowered the chance of an eventual okay. This is what an analyst wrote in a recent note to clients that his team believes the odds are at 60% versus 70 previously. They also expect the drug's launch in dementia-related psychosis to be pushed back multiple years to 2024.
Wow.
So these
Wow.
analysts can make or break a company. I mean, we see this with ChemFarm, and they had 3 hit pieces written out about them, which I've analyzed those hit pieces, and they actually don't have factual information in there. Fake news, but that's another story for another day. So that's something to look out for. AstraZeneca, this is what Ashley's been talking about for like the last 4 episodes.
Yeah.
It always comes up.
Oh,
So
so
sorry. So are you saying, Dan, that this fake news, do you think, or are you saying that people with a financial incentive do so?
I think
to
analysts
optimize?
I think analysts find heavily shorted stocks at best. At best, they find heavily shorted stocks and try to get cheap views. At worst, there is some manipulation going on, and they're getting paid somehow.
Paid to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At worst, that's my
Or
opinion.
I would
or
agree with
as
the
you
last.
said, or as you said, without any manipulation, just for their own gain and shorting
Yeah.
the
Cheap
stock.
views. You get attention.
Yeah.
You get views. You get ads off of that. I mean, attention is what every journalist needs. Every publication.
I know, but there is a lot of people, they short the stock and they just go on the social media and just blast that stock big time. Everybody gets scared and starts
Alright.
selling, and they start like,
especially if you're in a niche and you have a massive following within that niche, all you have to
Exactly.
do is be known and make a
Yep.
comment or make multiple comments enough for enough eyes to see, and there you go.
So Ashley, what do you think? You talk about now's your chance. Ashley, you've been talking about AstraZeneca for like 4 episodes.
Well, I mean, I got some news today from Disclose TV. They're actually plugging them, right? But they're a very they're a type of news that just like pretty much lets everything go through. They don't have necessarily a filter, so I really like following them. So over the past like weeks, there's been multiple places that have been, holding off. And for instance, today the Netherlands halts the use of AstraZeneca vaccine for people under 60 following the death of a woman who had received a shot, and I believe she had passed away. There was another one, I think it was yesterday, about let's see. Give me a quick minute.
While 3
Yeah.
coronavirus vaccines, while Ashley looks for it, I'll read
Yes,
this
please.
because while 3 coronavirus vaccines available for use in the U.S. got through FDA without drama, the one from AstraZeneca has encountered communication missteps and safety setbacks. Positive but confusing data left it unclear how to best use the shot or whether it worked well on the elderly. A trial stoppage of almost 2 months. It delayed a larger trial in the U.S. and South America, and then rare abnormal blood clots have occurred during the shot's rollout in Europe, which
Yeah.
is what we've been hearing.
Sure.
While AstraZeneca recently reported that the shot was safe and strongly effective at preventing COVID-19 in the U.S., study board of independent experts overseeing the trial publicly disputed the initial results. We actually have a lot of people that we interact with on LinkedIn, on Clubhouse, from the UK. And Europe's behind the U.S. They really were depending on this AstraZeneca to get rolled out and to get approval.
I think
Yeah.
so. Okay, there you go, Dan. Sorry, you
We're
like
back. Yeah,
you're back.
Europe's behind the U.S., so they were like really depending on AstraZeneca to get approval, and
Yeah.
now they don't have, because AstraZeneca was like the only one that they were going to be able to roll out to the.
So the other one here says Berlin and Munich suspend AstraZeneca vaccinations for under 60-year-olds with immediate effect as the German Paul Ilrich, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Institute PEI reports 31 suspected cases of brain thrombosis and 9 deaths after vaccinations nationwide. Other clinics across Germany are considering discontinuing the vaccine. Later, I read that Germany is considering only discontinuing it for people under 60. So they're still allowing the older population, which I also think that that's kind of weird. You would think that the older population would be way more susceptible for these kinds of things, given more and possibilities of comorbidities and things like that. But I mean, that's what's going on. I'm always keeping up with them, but that's part of why I even told you guys, I think with 2 videos ago, that I think right now AstraZeneca is going to be under a lot of heat, especially because it's going to be the first vaccine that got heat. And so I think anything tied to it is not necessarily going to have the best type of lighting. So for me, like, just trying to stay away from anything like that, just keeping a close eye.
We got and that'll be interesting to watch AstraZeneca's other drugs as well in the pipeline, like you were saying. Sanofi's Aval Glucosidase alpha for Pompe disease. Pompe disease involves a genetic mutation that stops people's bodies from producing a key enzyme that breaks down glycogen. The main treatment for Pompe has been enzyme replacement therapy called Lumizyme that Sanofi acquired when it bought Genzyme. Sanofi wants to set a new treatment standard by winning approval of a successor therapy called Aval Glucosidase alpha to deliver more of the enzyme into cells, improving potency. In a phase 3 study, Aval Glucosidase alpha matched Lumizyme as measured by improvements in respiratory function, but the clinical relevance of the difference between how the 2 drugs work has not been established yet. Still, approval of Sanofi's new drug could raise the bar for a number of other treatments in development. A decision is expected by May 18th. So that's that one.
Dan, say the drug name 5 times fast.
Oh no, I'm okay with that. We'll have you do that, Chris. That's right up your alley there. Any thoughts on this one? Anybody thoughts on this?
A very
Sanofi?
rare disease that's under the group of collagen storage disease, and I used to read about these kind of disease in the past and like this, and these drugs it's very, very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
This is something that CRISPR can possibly look into later. It's a genetic mutation.
Exactly. Maybe in CRISPR they can look into fixing this mutation. But now this medicine about the avaglucosidase alpha production enzyme, it is very gonna be most probably $600,000-$700,000
For what? What, a year? Oh my
a
God.
year. Yeah.
crazy.
How much medication is that?
I don't know. I don't know the disease, anything, but just reading about this rare disease and how much it costs to sell this medication after it get approved. Gee, man, it's crazy.
I wonder how that works. I mean, obviously it's for a whole other time, but I mean, for medicine to be that much,
Well,
wow.
there's a lot of money that goes into production and a lot of money that goes into research. So they have to, there has to be an incentive, right? They have to make
Sure.
money, but yeah, it's just crazy.
Like who's gonna
What drug company's going to approve
Insurance.
that?
Insurance.
insurance?
I mean,
Yeah.
not a drug company, but insurance. What insurance company's going to approve
I know. I was like,
It's
some
not up to
insurances
them.
don't even
Not up to
want
them.
to cover
them.
some basic stuff.
I know, but there is not up to them as long as it's approved by FDA and it doesn't have alternative, and you have a patient with this diagnosis, they have to use it.
That's true. True.
Okay. But then it depends on you. If you have a copay, how much copay you're gonna pay? That's what we talk about.
Right.
10% of 600,000.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's not much.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious, of course.
Of
Chris with the
course.
great jokes, as always. That's not
Just Google fish.
Chris, speaking of jokes, this is the one you and I had a no laughing matter over. Biogen's
Yeah, it was horrible.
aducanumab.
Horrible.
Well, I mean, maybe it's time to get back in. Let's read. Alzheimer's disease remains one of the most elusive areas of drug development. No kidding. The FDA should decide by June 7th now. All right. So in 2 months, whether to approve this drug, which would be the first marketed drug to slow the progression of Alzheimer's. However, FDA statisticians as well as external advisors have criticized the data of aducanumab and the ways Biogen analyzed it. In a November meeting, those advisors voted almost unanimously against the drug. Still, the FDA is under pressure to get more Alzheimer's drugs to patients, and the agency's clinical staff members have been supportive of Biogen's applications. When regulators decided to extend their review of aducanumab, it may have been a sign that more data could make the difference.
Yeah, I was just saying, what did they do? How did they get their data?
Yeah,
More
so
patients, more studies.
an approval is far from certain. However, the FDA, yeah, this is what we just read. Not only is the FDA under immense pressure for Alzheimer's drugs, but they've been uncharacteristically supportive of Biogen's application. When regulators recently decided to extend their review, some took it as a sign they're combing over more data that could support an approval. So
We're gonna
yeah,
plug in diversity here, Latinos in clinical research, getting more access to more patients.
There you go.
There you
very
go.
good. Ashley's learning this stuff, like the business of this fast.
I got
Business
some really
is
great
great.
mentors, you guys. I got some-
Last one, and then we gotta go live, guys. Okay.
No, but just a small thing about that.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's disease and in general, this year the neurology studies has been way increased comparing to the other years. You can find like about quadruple the number of the studies in neurology compared to the before years. Alzheimer, dementia, seizures, and neuropathies.
And
Remember
if
what I
this get
told you, Dan?
approved,
Alzheimer's, neuroscience, research, AI, biotech.
oh,
That's
it's
like
all
the
converging.
new-
All of it's
Yeah.
converging. If this one's approved, though, according to this article, a nod from regulators would make aducanumab the first marketed drug meant to slow the progression of Alzheimer's. So this, I mean, that's important. Maybe, I don't know, Chris, if we want to get back in, I got to look at the data. I'll look at the data this time and see what exactly the FDA had a problem with.
Look at their measure to slowing the progression. What is this? What did they use to measure this slowing of the progression? And this
Right.
is where I think the FDA is hitting them more.
Well, it might be with diversity, like Ashley said too. I mean, because I can't talk anymore about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Latinos in clinical research.
yes, we can talk about that. Okay, and then
Also,
Pfizer.
couldn't it also be length of trial? So if you're trying to prove it slows progression and you only run a 1-year trial, it may not be enough to prove this, right? It might need to be a longer term trial. But again, they're only needing to go until what, August, it said. So that doesn't really add any more.
Let's see what the FDA gonna decide.
Yeah.
And then last one, Pfizer's 20
Pfizer.
Pfizer's 20 valent pneumococcal vaccine Pfizer and Merck have approved vaccines to prevent pneumococcal disease. Neither protects against key emerging strains of the infectious bacteria. Pfizer's vaccine stimulates immunity to 20 different strains of disease-causing bacteria. It protects against the same 13 serotypes that the current standard Prevnar 13 does, plus 7 more that have been associated with higher death rates, antibiotic resistance, or meningitis. By June, the FDA will decide whether to approve Pfizer's 20-valent shot for people 18 and older. Prevnar can be used in infants and children as young as 6 weeks, but Pfizer aims to eventually treat that group as well. Merck expects a decision July 18th for its 15-valent pneumococcal vaccine called V114 in adults and children. So, anything about this, Dr. Al?
There is a lot of pneumococcal vaccine. I don't know why the need for a new one.
Yeah.
That's my question. Like I'm looking like Merck and Pfizer that are going for what the difference comparing to the old ones that we have and being
Yeah, that have already
effective.
been tried and true.
I don't know.
Are they gonna? I mean, would they remove this
I-
one and remove the current one and use this one? And
I know, but they're saying neither of these gonna protect against the emerging strains of the infectious bacteria. So
what's
I don't know
point?
what's. I don't
Yes,
know.
basically what you're saying, Dr. Al. Don't invest in Pfizer and Merck.
No.
No.
I'm not talking
No.
about the companies. No. No. I'm not saying. I'm
the
talking
first
about
line's
the
kind of
vaccine
misleading.
itself. What the need of it? Why? What's it
Exactly.
compared to the old ones or the one we have now? What's the difference if it is not going to protect against anything? It may emerge and cause like sudden infection for some patient that.
You're
I
talking
don't
about
know.
use cause, right? If they don't have
Yeah.
a use cause, what's the point of it other than injecting ourselves with it? So it needs a
I
use
don't know.
cause. So Pfizer and Merck, can you provide us a use cause, please? Thank you so much.
And also that first sentence is kind of misleading.
Exactly.
How does Pfizer and Merck approve their own drug?
Two companies, Pfizer and Merck, have approved vaccines to prevent. Yeah, they just took it from the.
No. The first sentence in that other article.
Mhm.
Both Pfizer and Merck have approved vaccines to prevent.
Yeah.
It sounds as though
Yeah, same thing.
It's the same
approved
thing. It's
they've
just a
approved
way
their
to say it.
vaccines, not the
Yeah.
FDA.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, people know.
Alright.
People.
They
if
have
you-
approved vaccines. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I think investors would know that the FDA approves vaccines, but maybe you have a point, Chris.
And we got. Oh, I mean,
Grammar,
nowadays,
Nazi over here.
grammars matter. We have like our
Take
and,
it up with
you know,
Eileen, but then you would take it up with the author of this article too. Let's email. I'm gonna email him this video, that last snippet of Chris. Look, Ben Fiddler, Chris
Yeah.
does not like you.
No, I did not say that.
That we're
I
gonna
just
send
said
this
that
to
line
him.
could be misleading. That's
Chris,
all I
you're gonna
said.
have it coming at you, man. You're lucky you're not on any social network. Just kidding, guys. But we gotta end abruptly because we gotta go live. Whoever wants to join me live, I'm gonna send you the link. So stay tuned. Stay here. Don't leave. But if you have to go, it's fine. But thank you, Clinical Research Circle. You guys mean the world to us. Keep the views coming. Keep the subscriptions coming. Keep the likes coming. Keep the comments coming. Especially messages for Chris from journalists.
Yeah.
They love Chris to correct them on how they should write. So thank you
do you go
guys.
on there, Chris?
Yeah, Chris corrects you on how to do your job better.
I don't know what's wrong with both of them today. These two guys.
There you go. There you go.
Chris, you always find somebody to hit.
Yeah.
Why?
wow.
I don't
What
know.
could I do?
Always.
Guys,
That's
Chris
another
is nice,
podcast.
guys. Chris-
That's-
another
that's
I
another
do what I can
podcast.
do.
Just doing the job. But anyways,
Well,
guys,
what-
we appreciate it. Clinical
what's-
Research Circle. We love you guys. Keep and put in the comments which stocks you want. We're gonna be reviewing a couple. I don't have the symbols with me right now, but there's like two very popular ones. Oh, so thank you, Circle. Thank you.